My spouse placed me on a $1,000 monthly stipend to check if I'm after his money, influenced by his mom, despite us being a couple for 12 years and me always handling finances wisely. Here's the background. My husband Jake and I have been partners since our first year in college. We connected as freshmen, dated all through our studies, and tied the knot shortly after finishing school. Nothing out of the ordinary. He's always maintained a tight bond with his relatives, particularly his mother Linda. She's the type who still washes his clothes during our visits and phones him daily. I found it odd but let it slide since family matters vary. Roughly 6 months back, Jake's closest buddy Marcus endured a truly devastating split. His spouse Emma had stayed home raising their kids for around 5 years, and she apparently cleaned him out financially. She received the home, half of his retirement savings, ongoing support for 3 years, the full package. Marcus ended up crashing in his siblings' lower level for 2 months, unable to cover rent elsewhere. This rattled Jake deeply, as Marcus had always described Emma as kind and affectionate. Then suddenly, she's engaging a tough attorney and claiming it all. At the same period, I discussed with Jake the idea of possibly not returning to my job once we start a family. I earn a solid income, about $52,000 annually. Jake brings in $94,000, so we're stable but not wealthy. We reside in a typical suburban area near Denver, owning a modest 3-bedroom place purchased 2 years prior. Everyday life for average folks. Growing up, both my parents held full-time positions, leading to total disorder. My siblings and I were on our own after school from 8 years old. We consumed plenty of prepackaged meals, and I essentially grew up independently. I don't desire that for our children. I aim to handle school drop-offs, sports events, and the moments my folks missed due to their long hours. I raised this during a casual Netflix session watching a crime show. I casually noted that when kids arrive, I might prefer staying home to care for them. His reply was somewhat neutral. He mentioned we'd have to review our finances to determine feasibility on a single salary. Reasonable response. But he shared it with his mother, and evidently Linda held firm views. She contacted me the following day, unusual since she typically reaches Jake, suggesting a meal together. I assumed it involved organizing Jake's birthday celebration or similar routine matters. Linda is employed as a dental assistant and has stayed with the same office for about 15 years. She's consistently courteous toward me but not especially friendly. The meal began ordinarily. We selected our dishes, discussed the climate, inquired about work. Then she dove right in. She expressed worry over my abrupt desire to stop employment. She questioned whether I was certain I wasn't seeking a simple escape from grown-up duties. She referenced Emma and Marcus's ordeal, hoping I wasn't intending to exploit Jake's kindness and steady earnings. I was genuinely taken aback. I assured her that wasn't my intention whatsoever, that I wished to be available for our upcoming children, not live off Jake freely. She shot me a skeptical glance. Then she remarked that Emma had claimed similar things to Marcus, and see the outcome. The remainder of the lunch was incredibly uncomfortable. We hardly exchanged words afterward. I returned home and recounted the event to Jake, anticipating he'd be upset with his mom for intruding. Instead, he became subdued and suggested perhaps his mother raised a valid concern about caution. In the ensuing weeks, Linda continued raising the topic. Each visit, she'd slip in subtle remarks. For instance, when Jake spoke of updating the bathroom, she'd note the need to save more if he'd soon be the sole provider. Or if I mentioned work events, she'd comment on whether I still held employment, thinking I'd planned to resign. It persisted, and Jake failed to halt it. He'd divert the topic or chuckle it away, but never instructed her to cease. I noticed him growing increasingly suspicious. The tipping point occurred around 3 weeks past. Jake approached me post-dinner, stating he'd reflected on his mom's input and Marcus's experience, wanting to safeguard his finances actively. He declared that if I truly meant to quit working, I ought to handle home costs within a sensible limit. He then announced he'd provide $1,000 monthly for food, home items, fuel for my vehicle, my individual needs, all but the home loan and bills. He claimed this would teach me proper budgeting and demonstrate financial responsibility prior to major choices about me becoming a homemaker. I inquired what he implied by demonstrating myself, and he confirmed it as stated. He wished to observe if I could adhere to a budget without excessive spending like Emma supposedly did. He added that managing the $1,000 for half a year might open discussions about me staying with children. However, $1,000 monthly isn't substantial. Our usual food costs run $400, $500. My vehicle installment is $280. Car coverage is $95. Leaving perhaps $200, $300 for fuel, personal care, apparel, any leisure, dining out, the rest. Feasible but constrained. We've shared 12 years. Joint accounts exist. I've never mishandled funds. The priciest item I acquired last year was a $200 winter jacket, and I consulted him despite shared finances. I questioned Jake if he truly viewed me as someone who'd exploit him financially, then abandon him. He replied he hoped not, but Marcus hadn't anticipated Emma's actions, and prevention beats cure. His mom labels this wise fiscal strategy. She praised Jake for foresight and avoiding Marcus's naivety. She often remarks how contemporary females fail to appreciate money's worth due to entitlements. I've endured this stipend setup for 3 weeks and despise it entirely. Jake transfers $1,000 to a distinct account monthly for my use. He monitors the balance occasionally, questioning larger expenditures. Recently, I purchased $60 in cleaning products at Target due to shortages. Jake noticed and inquired about the high amount. I displayed the receipt, feeling like a teen justifying pocket money to parents. My pals consider this absurd. My sibling suggests Jake's controlling and I must assert myself. Yet I'm unsure if I'm exaggerating. Perhaps Linda's caution is justified. Marcus truly suffered and Jake witnessed his pal's losses. I comprehend the paranoia trigger, but I'm not Emma. Jake understands me deeply. We've navigated school, career launches, home purchase as a unit. Why ignore our shared past? I'm seeking if this represents typical spousal fear of separation, or if Jake's irrational. Should I endure 6 months to validate or signals deeper issues? Oddly, our relationship thrives otherwise. We enjoy films, chat meaningfully, intimacy remains standard. But this finance cloud looms. I sense constant evaluation, awaiting my slip to affirm his caution. I seek opinions on salvability or if Jake's distrust signals the start of decline. Update 1, appreciation to all responders on my initial share. Views divided between flee and resolve, but insights clarified my desires. I've managed the $1,000 stipend for roughly 2 months, as aggravating as anticipated. I've remained within limits mostly, seemingly astonishing Jake. Last month expended $940, prior $1,020 due solely to tire replacement from a puncture. Jake monitors all outlays. Not merely major, absolutely all. He queried a $12 CVS spend, requiring explanation of feminine products and pain relief. He challenged a $25 grocery uptick, necessitating admission of premium tissue over Linda's cheap suggestion. Regarding Linda, she routinely checks Jake on my budgeting progress. She inquired last week if I'd grasped the lesson on expenditures. She proposed part-time work for contribution over handouts. This arose during dinner at hers. Linda prepared roast beef, typically tasty, but the evening strained. She repeatedly noted the luxury of income freedom. Once she mentioned Emma's shopping fondness before stripping Marcus bare. I finally retorted I wasn't Emma, nor plotting Jake's divorce and asset grab. She countered that's precisely Emma's line, then shifted topics. Jake stayed silent amid this, just continued his meal undisturbed. The drive back was quiet till I asked if he'd ever shield me from his mother's claims, or endure them eternally. He claimed his mom protected him, not to personalize. I asked how else to interpret, and he suggested proving responsibility might ease her. Then I grasped this transcended money, budgets, or Emma Marcus. It centered on Jake's insufficient respect to bar his mother from our union. He preferred subjecting me to this demeaning stipend over one tough talk with Linda. I experimented. I've tracked every stipend purchase meticulously. Receipts galore, annotations on items and rationale, thorough records. Last Tuesday, I showed Jake a comprehensive spreadsheet of 2-month spends, sorted by category with means and such. I demonstrated under budget both times, extra thrift from constraints. I asked if this sufficed to disprove gold-digging accusations. I queried returning to joint accounts and earnestly discussing homemaking with kids. Jake examined the sheet a while, then claimed I overreacted. He stated the stipend wasn't punitive, merely ensuring financial comfort pre-big moves. I pressed for specifics on his comfort threshold for my homemaking. What precise objective? He lacked direct response. Just proposed continuing a while, observe progress. I've begun apartment hunting. Not definitively departing, but option scouting. Decent one-bedrooms here cost $1,400, $1,600 monthly. Manageable on my pay with care, though snug. I consulted my sister Emmy, yes, sharing Emma's name, so Emmy. She offered her guest room rent-free if aiding bills and food. No firm choices, part considers couples therapy pre-extremes, but another ponders salvage value. A union viewing me as potential fortune hunter. A bond where his mom infantilizes me financially. I gained insight on Marcus Emma via chance encounter last week, brief chat. Revealed Jake and Linda's narrative incomplete. Marcus shared Emma's takings were real but not premeditated years. Long-standing issues existed, his overtime, her isolated with toddlers, minimal communication. Emma sought therapy repeatedly, he delayed from work demands. The settlement standard for career-sacrificing spouse. Marcus appeared sorrowful yet not resentful toward Emma, more regretful over marital collapse. This prompted wonder on Jake Linda's selective focus or inaccuracies in retellings. Regardless, I intend proposing therapy to Jake this weekend. If open to neutral mediation, perhaps assess marriage viability. If deeming me excessive for suggesting, reveals his stance. Update 2, the therapy discussion flopped. Raised it Saturday morn over coffee and news scrolling, calm vibe. I proposed couples counseling for the finance dilemma. Jake glanced up, questioning need when self-resolution possible. I noted 3-month stagnation. Still stipended, mom's jabs ongoing, unresolved homemaking. Jake claimed no fresh insights from counselors. He viewed our setup functional, me improving at budgeting. I stressed trust erosion as core, not my misdeeds. He defended framing as fiscal wisdom, not distrust. Referenced Marcus, vowing no similar blind faith errors. I asked if he equated me with Emma. He replied uncertainty as money alters folks. I sought Emma's exact wrongs. He recycled divorce takings tale, but I shared Marcus's alternate view. Jake hushed, probing Marcus's words. I detailed years of troubles, therapy pleas ignored, standard settlement for homemaker, not Emma's scheming. Jake disliked this, claimed Marcus faced saving, me gullible if buying Emma's innocence. When pressed for Emma's plotting proof, he offered none. Hour-long loop. Jake rejected therapy, I insisted self-failure. Ultimately, he said waste money on it if I wished, but he'd abstain. I agreed to solo. He chuckled, asking funding source outside $1,000. That infuriated. I snapped I'd use job earnings. He countered against our current budget, escalated massively. I highlighted full-time work, uncontrollable pay use. He said budget defiance nullified purpose. I clarified no agreement, his imposition tolerated for harmony. He suggested reevaluating marriage suitability if problematic. That halted me. Said nonchalantly as if pondered long. I asked if he desired my exit. He denied but refused sorry for self-protection. Weekend strained, minimal talk. Monday he departed wordlessly. I booked solo therapy. She's experienced 15 years practice. Session next Thursday. Funding from personal account, Jake's opinion irrelevant. Also opened separate savings elsewhere. $500 per paycheck last month. Modest but empowering hidden funds sans scrutiny. Jake's post-fight demeanor odd, not hostile, distant. Home from job, dine, TV, sleep. Surface interactions. Last night he inquired my marital happiness. I mirrored. He claimed content till finance rifts. I blamed his mistrust, not my actions. He suggested differing marriage visions, his practical self-guard, mine naive total sharing. I defined as partnership, mutual support versus external meddling. He confirmed mom reference, I affirmed. Jake praised Linda's 35-year marriage wisdom. I noted her long-standing barbs undefended. He denied nastiness, called realism. Bed unresolved, morning early exit again. Reflecting his marriage divergence comment, perhaps accurate, I see trust teamwork, he spoused defense. Irreconcilable, Emmy urges exit. Says Jake revealed self, believe it. Friend Jess advises linger therapy clarity on wants, undecided. Update 3 weeks prior an incident solidified this. My vehicle emitted strange sounds. Mechanic visit revealed brake pad replacement at $320. Allowance near depleted end month from routine spends. I phoned Jake at job for joint account access. He questioned lacking car upkeep budget. I explained unpredictable wear. He suggested monthly emergency reserves. I noted $1,000 scant for basics plus surprises. He implied wiser purchase choices, borrowed from sister for fix. Jake displeased upon discovery, claimed family loans signaled system failure. I said system flawed from insufficient coverage. He proposed extra job for more funds. I reminded full-time employment suffices but access blocked by his rules. Argument spanned days. Jake accused irresponsibility, validating mom's views. I labeled controlling unfair, multiple angry bedtimes. Linda worsened. Jake shared she deemed exemplar of women's fiscal unreliability. Said budget mishandling disqualified future homemaking. Jake relayed verbatim. Saw no issue sharing privates or her judgments. Realized not temporary post-Marcus comfort. This embodied Jake, accepting wife control, mom discussions over spousal resolution. 2 weeks back, serious apartment search. Found one bed 15 mins from job, available soon. $1450 monthly plus bills, salary feasible. Deposit held, decide by weekend. Consulted attorney for divorce overview. No kids under 10 years wed, dual earners, simple split. Assets debts divided separate ways, house sale likely. Minimal equity from recent buy. Individual car titles retained. Legally straightforward, emotionally tangled. Jake uninformed yet. Not certain on divorce option exploring, but sense decision nearing. Update 4 relocated 6 weeks ago, no theatrical scene. Evening announcement of apartment, Saturday move, Jake shocked. Questioned ending marriage over budget dispute. I clarified trust lack, disrespect, mom's unchecked interference. Tired of post-12-year auditioning. Jake thought time could mend, perhaps loosen stipend. I stressed concept flaw, not sum, husband allowances childish. He asked discarding 12 years. I countered he'd built on distrust control, unlivable. Recycled months debate. Jake practical responsible, me controlling disrespectful. No persuasion. Packed attire, literature, personals. Jake aided car loading, surreal. Civil like casual movers, not separating mates. Linda visited packing, remarked easy surrender, problem evasion. Jake told her butt out, first defense, belated. Apartment compact but personal. 1 bed bath, kitchen bar, living for seating TV. $1450 rent, self-bills groceries, no justifications. Adjustment to solo choices. Jake and I cordial divorce-wise. Mediator over lawyers, no kids complexities. House listed 3 weeks, 2 bids, market strong, quick sale, profit split. Marcus contacted post-move. Felt awful his split fueled hours. Said Jake quizzed divorce year-long. He stressed beyond money issues, but Jake finance-obsessed. Marcus revealed Linda's months ago call on Emma signs, sought money plot indicators. He clarified no scheme, standard marital failure settlement. Linda ignored. So Linda case built against me months, Jake fully subscribed. Divorce finalizes 6 weeks. 1 mediation left, mostly forms.